Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg is out of the presidential race, but those who knew Buttigieg say his political future remains bright. Adam Pinsker reports.
He may no longer be a candidate for president, but South Bend Democrats say Mayor Pete's rise to national prominence these last several months is the ultimate Hoosier comeback story.
They call me Mayor Pete. I am a proud son of South Bend, Indiana, and I am running for president of the United States.
It's been 11 months since South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg burst onto the national political scene by entering the 2020 presidential race.
Affect a lot more voters than whatever the outcome is of this Russia investigation.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, the Russia stuff matters.
But long before he made the talk show circuit, or people around the country struggled to pronounce his name, Buttigieg was making a name for himself in his hometown of South Bend. Almost a decade ago, St. Joseph County Democratic Chairman Stan Rubel hosted a Buttigieg for Mayor fundraiser.
And if you had told me 9 years ago that this gentleman, who was very articulate, very passionate, clearly a bright person, but if you'd told me that in 9 years he was going to be a front runner as president, I wouldn't have believed you.
Buttigieg served 2 terms as mayor before giving up the office to run for president. Critics raised questions about whether Buttigieg was prepared for the national political stage. Was he too green?
Because I couldn't get it done. My community is in anguish right now because of an officer-involved shooting. A black man, Eric Logan, killed by a white officer. And I'm not allowed to...
But Rubel says Buttigieg made an impression on South Bend, and his efforts helped turn the city around.
Has certainly embraced technology. He's embraced development. I think some of the criticism is that that's been focused on the downtown core. But I think a lot of the progress that's been made will translate into the neighborhoods in the future.
When Buttigieg entered the race, there were more than a dozen candidates running for president. A lot of people didn't expect Buttigieg to become a serious contender. Even members of his own party here in Indiana admittedly had their doubts.
What impresses me, though, is one, his courage to get in this race. I mean, that's a tough task running for president, right? His courage to get in it, his wisdom to know when there wasn't a path for victory anymore.
Buttigieg finished 4th in South Carolina last weekend. Despite doing well in the 3 prior contests, University of Indianapolis political science professor Laura Wilson says there just wasn't a realistic path forward for Buttigieg.
But fundraising matters, and if he felt like he ran out of places to tap for fundraising, this was probably going to be the end of that campaign.
Wilson says Buttigieg's disappointing finish in the South Carolina primary, coupled with his struggles in attracting African American and Latino voters, may have contributed to his exit from the race.
One of the things that he mentioned was he didn't want to keep splitting that moderate vote, and that is very true. When you look at Buttigieg, you also have Biden, Klobuchar, a lot of people in the middle there that were really battling it out for each other.
Although his run for the presidency is over, his presence on the national political scene may just be getting started.
If a Democrat ultimately gets in office, he's certainly proven his chops on policy, and he could look for a position in the cabinet.
We must not treat the presidency like it's the only office that matters.
Rubel says Buttigieg's popularity shows he's among a new generation of political leaders ready to lead the country.
I don't think this is the last we've heard of him, and he certainly helped tell the story of South Bend and the successes we've had here. So it's been a wonderful thing for our community.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
As for details about what Buttigieg plans to do next, he's not saying. When he spoke in South Bend Sunday to announce the end of his presidential campaign, those in the crowd chanted 2024.